Good evening. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. US President Donald Trump calls for 50% tariff on EU starting June 1st. India's global outreach in Operation Sindoor expands further. Multi-party delegations highlight India's continued fight against terrorism. Iranian and US negotiators begin fifth round of Oman-mediated nuclear talks in Rome. Japan's new agriculture minister pledges to quickly move rice from government stockpiles to store shelves. US President Donald Trump said on Friday that he's recommending a straight 50% tariff on goods from European Union starting on June 1st, saying the EU has been hard to deal with on trade. Trump posted on Truth Social saying, and I quote, "The European Union, which was formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the United States on trade, has been very difficult to deal with. Their powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes, ridiculous corporate penalties, non-monetary trade barriers, monetary manipulations, unfair and unjustified lawsuits against American companies, and more have led to a trade deficit with the United States of more than $250 million a year, a number which is totally unacceptable. Our discussions with them are going nowhere. Therefore, I'm recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting on June 1st this year. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the United States." The announcement came after Trump threatened to impose a tariff of at least 25% on Apple if the company does not start manufacturing iPhones in the United States. Stock futures sank following Trump's posts. Moving on, the Trump administration has dropped a bombshell on Harvard University, barring it from enrolling international students and throwing the academic futures of thousands into chaos. Homeland Security claims the move is about national security, but Harvard calls the government's action unlawful. Here's a report by DD India's Harshita Oberoi.
Harvard University, an academic giant known around the world, is now at the center of a firestorm. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, under the directive of Secretary Kristi Noem, announced on Thursday that it has revoked Harvard's certification to admit international students through the Student and Exchange Visitor Program. The revocation, set to take effect for the 2025-2026 school year, means that current foreign students must transfer to another institution or risk losing their legal status in the United States. The Trump administration accuses Harvard of enabling anti-Semitism and even coordinating with the Chinese Communist Party, claims the university strongly denies. Officials say Harvard failed to cooperate with demands for data on foreign students and protest activities over the last 5 years. Noem gave Harvard 72 hours to hand over student records and surveillance footage, saying universities must earn the privilege to enroll international students and not take it for granted. Harvard, which hosts nearly 6,800 international students, called the move unlawful and retaliatory. The move adds fuel to a growing confrontation between the Trump administration and America's top universities. In recent weeks, the government froze $3 billion in federal grants to Harvard and this week pulled another $60 million, citing failure to curb anti-Semitic harassment. Secretary Noem confirmed the administration is looking at similar actions against other campuses, including Columbia University. As legal battles mount and universities brace for further action, thousands of international students now find their futures hanging in the balance. Harshita Oberoi's report for DD India.
Meanwhile, China slammed the Trump administration's move to revoke the right of Harvard University to enroll foreign students. Chinese Foreign Ministry said China will safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of its overseas students and scholars. Dubbing it politicization of education, China says US actions will undoubtedly affect its image and credibility. Moving on, Iranian and US negotiators resumed talks on Friday at the Omani embassy in Rome to resolve decades-long dispute over Iran's nuclear ambitions. Iranian news agency Tasnim reported that the fifth round of indirect talks between Iran and the United States, led by Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and US Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, began in Rome with the mediation of Oman. Earlier, both Washington and Tehran took a tough stance in public over Iran's intensifying uranium enrichment program, which could potentially give its scope to build a nuclear warhead, even though Tehran says it has no such ambitions and the purposes are purely civilian. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has rejected Washington's demands that Tehran stops refining uranium as excessive and outrageous, warning that the talks are unlikely to yield results. US President Trump announced on Friday that Russia and Ukraine completed a major prisoners exchange, expressing hope the move could lead to something bigger. Russia and Ukraine each agreed at 2 hours of talks in Istanbul last week to swap 1,000 prisoners, but failed to agree to a ceasefire proposed by Donald Trump. Previous prisoner swaps have been mediated by the UAE. The prisoner swap was the only concrete step towards peace the two sides agreed at in the talks in Istanbul. Trump, who has shifted US policy from supporting Ukraine towards accepting some of Russia's account of the war, had said that he could tighten sanctions on Russia if Moscow blocked a peace deal. But after speaking to Putin on Monday, he decided to take no action for now. Taking India's strong message against terrorism to the world, the third all-party delegation led by DMK Member of Parliament Kanimoi is in Moscow, Russia. The high-level delegation interacted with the first deputy chair of the Committee on International Affairs, Andrei Denisov, and other senators in the Council of Russian Federation. The all-party delegation led by DMK MP Kanimoi also interacted with the chair of State Duma Committee on International Affairs, Leonid Slutsky, along with other members of the State Duma. The UAE and Japan have expressed solidarity with India in the fight against terrorism as all-party delegations' diplomatic outreach commenced on Thursday to sensitize global leadership about terror emanating from Pakistan. A delegation led by Shiv Sena MP Srikant Eknath Shinde held talks in the UAE. The delegation met Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence. Al Nahyan conveyed his deep condolences for the Pahalgam terrorist attack. The delegation highlighted the perpetration of cross-border terrorism and Pakistan's efforts to cause social disharmony in India. The high-level all-party delegation also participated in an interaction event with the Indian community in the UAE, where the members shared the new India and the new normal, which has emerged after the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack and subsequent Operation Sindoor launched in response. The delegation will also travel to Congo, Sierra Leone and Liberia.
1 month back, news channels were telecasting Pahalgam, 22nd April. Today we are on 22nd of May. The date is exactly the same. The month has just progressed by 1 month. And at that time, the headlines were showing as if India was so helpless that terrorists were saying, go and tell the Prime Minister this is what we have done. Did any one of us ever think that an all-party delegation across all these seas would have started an initiative within 30 days? And here we are on 22nd of May, and I can assure you, by 22nd of June, we would have done so much more. That is progress, that is the work, that is the achievement that we are doing.
The all-party delegation led by Shiv Sena MP Srikant Shinde met with Director General Anwar Gargash, Diplomatic Academy, Nikolai E. Nadanov in Abu Dhabi on Friday. The delegation visited the UAE to brief on India's response to the April 22nd terror attack and its broader fight against cross-border terrorism. And another all-party outreach delegation is in Tokyo, Japan, led by JDU MP and National Working President Sanjay Kumar Jha. He reaffirmed India's actions against terrorism, told the diplomats and representatives from several countries during the global outreach about the new normal in place against terrorism.
How India and Pakistan are different. In thoughts, in every aspect, we are different. And just after 1 week, there was an attack in Pahalgam. Now, as he said, our Prime Minister said, terror and talk cannot go together. Trade and talk cannot go together. And water and blood cannot flow together. So that is the man. Entire 140 billion people are against terrorism. Or you can't be neutral on this. If any country is promoting, financing, training them, how come Osama bin Laden has not found anywhere in the world? He found in Pakistan, just next to their air base. Every terrorist activity in the world has some or other link in Pakistan.
This event saw ambassadors, diplomats of several countries in attendance. These included Saudi Arabia, Liberia, Micronesia, Singapore, Russia, South Africa, South Korea, Colombia, Brazil and Australia, among others. India's ambassador to Japan, C.B. George, brought to attention the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack. He spoke about and also presented the visuals of terrorists being given state funeral in Pakistan and underscored the new normal that is very clear: zero tolerance against terrorism.
It was a clear message that India has zero tolerance for terrorism. We will punish terrorists. We will go to any extent to punish the terrorists. The whole nation came together, the entire country. And the message from now on is this: we have zero tolerance towards terrorism. Blood and water cannot flow together. Terror and trade cannot happen together. And that is the message we are here. When it comes to fight against terrorism, there is no neutral position. You are either in the fight against terrorism or you are supporting terrorism.
The all-party delegation led by JDU MP Sanjay Kumar Jha also met former Defence Minister of Japan Minoru Kihara and Director General of International Bureau Shinako Shoshiya at Liberal Democratic Party headquarters in Tokyo. In the meeting, Indian delegation reiterated strong resolve to fight terrorism in all its manifestations. Japan's new agriculture minister Shinjiro Koizumi has promised to quickly move rice from government storage to stores to lower the high prices. He said rice will be sold at under about $21 for a 5-kilogram bag by early June. Rice prices in Japan have risen because of crop damage caused by extreme heat and more demand from tourists. This has led to many people to buy cheaper rice from other countries like the United States, even with added tariffs. Koizumi just became the minister a couple of days ago after the last minister quit over saying that he never had to buy rice thanks to gifts from supporters. Now Koizumi is working fast to bring prices down and keep people from buying local rice. Shifting focus, frustrated over recent developments, Chief Advisor of Interim Government of Bangladesh, Professor Muhammad Yunus, is considering to step down. Reporters say Yunus voiced his desire to resign and address the nation through a televised speech during unofficial discussions at an advisory council meeting on Thursday. He talked about his worries over aspersions on his government's performance and duties. Yunus's relationship with political parties and the military has reportedly deteriorated. On Wednesday, it was reported that powerful Army Chief General Waqaruzzaman said that elections should be held by December. Meanwhile, Bangladesh Nationalist Party leader Zainul Abidin Farooq urged the Chief Advisor of Interim Government, Professor Yunus, to immediately issue letters to the advisors and National Security Advisor. He requested their resignation from the Advisory Council. Speaking at a protest rally on Friday, Farooq said, The absence of an election roadmap has fueled public suspicion and political instability. He stressed that BNP would not take responsibility for this instability. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Prime Minister Modi inaugurates Rising Northeast Investor Summit 2025. In a shocking admission, Pakistan rejected Indigo Flight's request to use its airspace. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. The Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, inaugurated Rising Northeast Investor Summit 2025 in New Delhi today. Extending a warm welcome to all dignitaries to the event, Prime Minister expressed pride, warmth and immense confidence in the future of the Northeast region. He pointed out that there was a time when the Northeast was merely called a frontier region. It is emerging now as the frontrunner of growth.
हम लुक ईस्ट से आगे बढ़कर एक्ट ईस्ट के मंत्र पर चले और इसी का परिणाम आज हम देख रहे हैं। एक समय था जब नॉर्थ ईस्ट को सिर्फ फ्रंटियर रीजन कहा जाता था। आज ये ग्रोथ का फ्रंट रनर बन रहा है।
We take you live now to a press conference by Indian delegation in
Third
UAE.
largest economy very soon, after US and China. And if you see the nations around, you see the nations, Pakistan is there, Bangladesh is there, Afghanistan is there. What happened to these nations? Sri Lanka there, what happened to these nations? Maldives is there, what happened to this nation? But India is progressing, soon to be the third largest economy. So I think this all has to be thought of, and we always reply with a restraint. Every time there is a terrorist attack, we initiate a dialogue. This time also, this ceasefire happened on the request of Pakistan. There was no third party interest or third party intervention. So we are here telling to the entire world that our message to the entire world is zero tolerance against terrorism. The entire world, the other nations should stand firmly with India. And as in UAE, the UAE is standing firmly with India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With your permission, I'll open the floor to questions. Anybody? Please. Wait.
Good afternoon. I'm Nandini Sarkar from Khalij Times. My question is...
That was the Indian delegation, part of Operation Sindoor Global Outreach, addressing the media. The delegation leader, Shrikant Shinde, talking about India's firm stand and zero tolerance against cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan. Moving on, India's Home Minister Amit Shah attended the BSF Border Security Force investiture ceremony in New Delhi on Friday. Shah praised the Border Security Force for their bravery, dedication and commitment during an award ceremony. Addressing the ceremony, Minister Shah said, BSF and the armed forces have showcased great valor and true power of defense in India's retaliatory action against Pakistan.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ये हमारे प्रधानमंत्री की दृढ़ राजनीतिक इच्छा शक्ति, हमारी सूचना एकत्रित करने वाली संस्थाओं की सटीक सूचना और सेना का मारक क्षमता का अद्भुत प्रदर्शन, ये तीनों मिलता है तब ऑपरेशन सिंदूर बनता है.
In a shocking revelation that raises serious concerns over regional air safety, India's aviation watchdog, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or DGCA, on Friday said the crew of Indigo flight from Delhi to Srinagar on Wednesday had sought permission to enter the Pakistan airspace to avoid turbulence due to extreme weather conditions, but the request was rejected. The DGCA said there was no injury to any passengers who were on the flight and that the aircraft's nose radome was damaged. As per the Indian Air Force sources, the aircraft was immediately assisted in coordinating their route diversion by contacting Delhi area and passing requisite contact frequency of Lahore control for overflight weather diversion request. Once Lahore refused overflight clearance, the aircraft proceeded towards Srinagar. The flight was subsequently professionally assisted till a safe landing at Srinagar airfield by giving control vectors and ground speed readouts. Let's now turn to other stories making news today. A fierce encounter between security forces and terrorists continued for second consecutive day in Singhpora area of Chatru in Jammu and Kashmir Kishtwar district. The prolonged gun battle, which began on Thursday, has already claimed the life of one soldier who laid down his life in the line of duty while engaging in the ongoing operation. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Vishnudev Sai flagged off motorcycles given to District Reserve Guard personnel for anti-Naxal operations in the region. Chief Minister also interacted with security personnel who were part of the recent successful operation in which 27 Naxals were neutralized. Major Rohit Kandian of Indian Army won 4 medals at the 11th World Masters Game in Taiwan, held from May 17 to 30th. Competing against international athletes and former Olympians, he displayed exceptional grit, determination and athletic prowess, earning global recognition. Let's now turn to sports. Having breached the 90-meter mark in Doha last week, Indian javelin throw ace Neeraj Chopra will hope to carry the momentum at Janusz Kuczynski Memorial in Poland. Neeraj will square off against Julian Weber, former European champion, yet again in Chorzów City on Friday. Two-time world champion and Paris bronze medal winner Anderson Peters also features in the tournament. This will be Neeraj's third event of 2025 athletics calendar. He won the Poach Invitational Meet in South Africa in April before bettering his own personal best at the Doha Diamond League last week. In cricket, Royal Challengers Bengaluru will be pitted against Sunrisers Hyderabad in Lucknow on Friday. Already qualified for the playoffs, Royal Challengers will aim to register a win to stay in the top 2 of the standings. This will ensure multiple chance for them to make it to the summit clash of the tournament. Royal Challengers are second in the table with 8 wins and 3 losses in 12 matches. Their previous match was abandoned due to rain. Royal Challengers captain Rajat Patidar has recovered from his finger injury and is fit to play against Sunrisers. On the other hand, Pat Cummins-led Sunrisers Hyderabad have been eliminated from the playoff race. They would want to end their journey on a high note by winning the remaining games. And we're leaving you with the song Sindoor, a heartfelt tribute to the bravery and sacrifice of India's armed forces.
सिंदूर नहीं मिटने देंगे, तिरंगा नहीं झुकने देंगे, अब जुल्म नहीं हमको सहना, मेरे देश का यारों क्या कहना।
रग रग बोले जय हिंद, हर रग बोले जय हिंद, ना गम से छुपे ना डर से डरे,
थी वो आग, हर आंसू ने संकल्प लिया, हर दिल में गूंजी पुकार, सिंदूर नहीं मिटने देंगे,
सिंदूर नहीं मिटने देंगे,
तिरंगा नहीं झुकने देंगे,
तिरंगा नहीं झुकने देंगे,
अब जुल्म नहीं हमको सहना, मेरे देश का यारो,
मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना, ओ मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना, बहनों ने फिर बहना कहना, मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना।
जो मासूम लहू से खेल गए, खंडर बन गए उनके किले, हर गोली में जो जख्म दिए, चुन चुन के सारे बदले लिए,
सिंदूर नहीं मिटने देंगे, तिरंगा नहीं झुकने देंगे, अब जुल्म नहीं हमको सहना, मेरे देश का यारो,
मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना, मेरे देश का यारो क्या